Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, Tim here again with another quick video game countdown type thing. The end of a video game is often how we remember that game and the story that it told. They leave us with a lasting impression which can be amazing or awful. Some endings are full of disappointment and can leave players confused or cringing at how bad it was. Many of them can even feature amazing gameplay, and there are quite a few big franchises and series that claim a place on this list. Here are 10 of the worst video game endings ever created. Number 10. Fable 2. At the end of a great story filled with moral choices and dilemmas, the entire fate of the world comes down to a simple choice at the end of the game. Resurrect the people that died because of the Spire, get a huge amount of money, or bring the family and the dog back to life. Nothing really unique happens for each ending, and the player has to deal with whatever negative comments the game makes about their choice. Number 9. BioShock. The ending is pretty disappointing because it just didn't go the way players were expecting, and it was relatively simple overall. It featured a strange boss battle and 2 dull but brief ending sequences, depending on how the player treated the little sisters. Compared to the rest of the game, the ending seemed very uninspired and weak. For one of the highest rated games of all time, it has a very disappointing end. Number 8. Ghosts and Goblins. Not only is this one of the hardest video games of all time, it has to have one of the most frustrating endings of all time that can easily cause a rage fit. Managing to defeat the game one time is no easy task, but that doesn't end the game. Instead, the player is told that the end is just an illusion, and that they need to start again from the beginning. Of course, the second playthrough is a much higher difficulty, and completing it will finally unlock the real ending. The game just doesn't feature brutal difficulty, the ending is pretty cruel as well. Number 7. Mortal Kombat 4. There's good reason why gamers don't talk about this game very much. The Jax ending was one of the worst endings in the entire series. Some of this can be forgiven as it was an attempt at 3D, but it was pretty bad with some fans commenting that it just seemed more like a fan video created by a 4-year-old. The dialogue for the Jax ending was just awful, and the voice acting didn't make things any better, but at least it's kind of hilarious, even if the ending is one giant cringe fest. Number 6. Borderlands. When it comes to spoiling an epic adventure, the ending of Borderlands certainly did that for a lot of players. This RPG is set across the large world of Pandora, where the player fights all kinds of strange creatures to reach the legendary vault and claim the prizes inside. This is great, but the ending was the complete opposite. After finally reaching the vault, there's no amazing reward. Instead, there's just the boss battle. It's a little bit disappointing after all the hype the game builds up for the vault. Number 5. Halo 2. This has got to be one of the most annoying and disappointing endings of all time. Just as Master Chief is walking towards the final battle, the game ends. It's a terrible way to end a game, and it seems more like a promo for the next game than an actual ending. While the ending is terrible, the Halo 2 multiplayer is considered one of the best gaming experiences of all time and features amazing gameplay, so there is still a reason to play the game. Number 4. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Even the Legend of Zelda series has fallen victim to terrible endings, and this one was probably one of the most annoying of them all. After defeating the evil Ganon, saving Zelda, and fighting through dungeons, the game gives the worst ending to ever exist across all entertainment. The entire game was just a dream. Seeing this in such a good game was just awful. It's easy to see why this Legend of Zelda game isn't talked about too much. Number 3. Fallout 3. The Fallout series has always been well received, and it has always offered a lot to players. So it's not surprising that fans were shocked and disappointed at how Bethesda decided to end this great RPG. The other games in the series allow the player to continue after playing the main story ended, but this one did not. At the end of the main story in Fallout 3, the player sacrifices themselves, and there's no way to continue through that playthrough. There is no endgame play in the base game, and because of this, fans were very angry. Number 2. Half-Life Episode 2. Half-Life is one of the most well-known PC games in existence, and it's only partly to do with the fact that the series is great. Half-Life 3 has become one of the largest internet jokes around, and it's partly to do with the ending of Episode 2. It's been many years now, and fans are still upset about the lackluster ending, where a critical and loved character dies within minutes of the game ending. The ending is extremely abrupt, and almost 10 years later, fans are still waiting for closure.
Number 1.
Mass Effect 3. The Mass Effect series is one of the most popular video game series ever created, and when the final chapter of the first trilogy was finally released, the response towards the ending was only disappointment and anger. For a series that prided itself on diversity and providing so many choices, the ending was completely linear and every choice ever made in the games had no impact at all. Players were so unhappy that BioWare released some new endings for the game. And that's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoyed these bad video game endings and things. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, share with your friends, subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you soon.